Micki Willis, thanks so much for joining us. Great to have you on our show. Your film is about the mass awakening to the communist agenda around the world. Tell us a bit about that awakening, as you call it, and what set it into motion.
Well, I think that the unintended consequence of the COVID tyranny is that it has jolted everyone awake to accept things and at least consider things that before just appeared to be outlandish and impossible. We're now recognizing that there is absolutely a concerted effort to control the people, to terrorize us into submission so that we will allow our civil liberties and our human rights to be chipped away at.
You've researched communism in depth. Could you explain what you've identified as a plan to plant communism in this country and how it began?
Well, if someone would have told me 10 years ago, if they would have even mentioned the word communism, I would have laughed because I had bought into the whole Red Scare that this stuff is long over and just a bunch of old paranoid people would even consider that. And then I started to do my work and to dig into it and to find out how many chapters of communism exist in America and abroad. And it is frightening. But the real wake-up for me happened when I was on the road as a documentary filmmaker documenting Bernie Sanders' run for president in 2016. And I had met a lot of the people that were following Bernie's entourage. And so I would ask these young people, why do you have a symbol of a communist party on your laptop or your water bottle? And they did their best to convince me that this new form of socialism, which they called democratic socialism, would lead to a new form of communism, and then that would ultimately save America and bring everyone into a state of true equality and balance. And that's when I realized what was really happening there, and that there really was a covert agenda to, and it's been happening for decades, generations, to gradually and now rapidly instate communism, a model of communism, which is ultimately just leads to total control of the people. And that's happening right here in the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thursday marks the anniversary of one of the worst ongoing atrocities committed by a communist regime, the horrific persecution of Falun Gong in China. You included Falun Gong practitioners and other Chinese dissidents in your film. What is the importance of listening to the stories of dissidents from communist regimes, and what role do they play in awakening people to the threat of communism?
It's a fantastic question, and it's mind-blowing to me that few people listen to the people that actually experienced the situation. And so people are ready to listen to newscasters and people in the media saying these things don't exist. They don't live there, they've never experienced it, but every dissident from a communist nation that is here in the United States now is saying the exact same thing, and that is wake up, America. Because they can recognize, if you've lived through something, any experience, you're able to recognize the steps that it takes to actually bring that into reality. And so they're witnessing the chipping away at our First Amendment, the attack on the Second Amendment, the real pull to tear down our Constitution, which is the foundation of America and why it's the #1 destination for immigration from all over the world, because we have this thing that is supposed to protect the individual.
Has the making and reception of this film given you hope?
It really has. It's been shocking to me, really, because I guess I just have grown accustomed to a lot of pushback. And this film has received very little because it's a good thing and it's also a scary thing. It's good that people are accepting this and they're learning from it, but it's scary because it means that these ideas are so prevalent. It's so present and in our face that people just can't deny it any longer, which means these agendas are far advanced. And so that's the scary part. If you just go to see The Great Awakening on YouTube, read the comments. It's quite inspiring because people are really understanding it and they're doing their own homework. And I would say that's one of the many unintended consequences of the COVID-19 situation, is that it's birthed a generation of citizen journalists. Whereas before, people were totally uninformed, most people, of what's happening around the world in politics nationally, internationally, and particularly locally. People now are sharing information daily with each other, and that being informed is really our best weapon and tool.
Micki Willis, director, writer, and producer of The Great Awakening, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
You can watch The Great Awakening for free online at plandemicseries.com.